Hi, everybody. My name is Shayna Conde, the founder and creator of Heart to Arts. And today I have Debbie and Leslie. They are CrossFit trainers, and they're going to be answering a bunch of questions that I have. So how did you two individually start your fitness journeys? And then how did you start this partnership?
I'll let Deb go first about her fitness journey.
Okay, so I started CrossFit, I want to say going on like 7, 8 years ago. And it was literally by chance, through a Groupon on a snow day in at home. I had always seen stuff about it, but was curious. But when I looked into it, was intimidated like most people are. The thing with me was I always struggled with, losing weight, up, down, up, down. And I would take extreme measures to lose weight, whether it was like trying not to eat or all these different fad diets. And I was always sick. I always had a headache. I never understood why I was always sick or whatever. So then one day I went to this, I think it was the very last day that the Groupon was good for. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to try it. If I don't try it, I'm never going to know. So I went and it was outside. And back then they would throw you into a full class, whereas now they don't. I almost passed out, but I went back for more because it was so different than what I was used to doing, just going into a gym alone and, trying to figure out what to do. So I went back for more. And although it was so hard for me because although I thought I knew fitness, I didn't know fitness until I started CrossFit. So it just developed like a passion. And on top of that, like my body was changing, and then I added nutrition and I wasn't sick. I was feeling like great. So it just, instead of it becoming a task to like work out, it became something I looked forward to every single day. And it wasn't just because of the workouts, it was also because of the community that I was, going into, the people and stuff like that. I started coaching. I became certified because of how much I loved it. I started coaching about, I want to say I'm going on maybe 3 years, at Giant in Englewood, which is where I met Leslie. I don't remember how we meshed, but whether it was maybe we partnered up for something or whatever, but once we did, we just clicked. And I never had like a buddy, like another girl buddy that like meshed so well with me. And we were kind of like in sync with a lot of the workouts and stuff and the weights and stuff until I met her. So we just developed a really good relationship, a great friendship. And it kind of like went from there. And we both had like the same, passion for CrossFit. And then we were just like, we should just do our own thing. So that's kind of how that started.
Thank you, Deb. That was very nice. So similar to Deb, I think I've been doing CrossFit for about 9 years now. And almost exactly what she said, going into, not to throw names out there, but like an LA Fitness or a Planet Fitness, you get intimidated by those machines and the people there. And honestly, what you think, or what I thought I was seeing as results, once I started CrossFit, I realized that I wasn't really getting that many results at a regular gym. And so I started in New Orleans. And it really was just on a whim. I had seen the CrossFit Games on TV, and it was crazy stuff that they were doing. And I knew that, no, I can't just do this crazy stuff they're doing. But that crazy stuff looks really cool, and I want to try it at least. So I convinced a friend who was the only person to say yes to me, to go try it out with me. And we went to an intro class because you had to take 5 intro classes before they let you sign up for a membership. And I honestly remember not being able to walk the next day after the intro class. So 1, that showed me that I wasn't in the shape that I thought I was in. And 2, I was like, oh man, this must really work. I'm going to go back. It's like this masochist sort of weird thing that just triggers in your head for whatever reason when you go into a CrossFit gym. And I think that's where the whole cult sort of joke comes from, is that, okay, you're literally going to be punished. But, 30 days in, I was seeing results that I had never seen before. So I was like, okay, this is for me. And I got decent at it. I'm still only decent at it, but decided to get my certification about 6 years ago now. I was still in New Orleans at the time. Got my certification, moved back to the East Coast right after that. And that's when I first started actually coaching. And when I got back to the East Coast, I was closer to my best friend, just blocks away at that point. And she was my first guinea pig. You know, your best friend is like, yeah, I'll try it. You know, they'll do anything as long as they're not paying for it and you're not hurting them. And she started seeing results pretty quickly. So with that, I was able to gain a little bit more of a following and a few more clients and built up from there. And that was in Philadelphia. And then I got transferred with work to work in the city, in New York City, but living in Jersey. And I started going to Giant Fitness as my home gym. And that's where, like Deb said, we met. And she may not remember, but after a few workouts, like she said, I was just like, I want to be your friend. Like, I think I literally said to her, I want to be your friend. And
I remember.
She actually was coaching and still does coach at two gyms. So it was like, after I said, I want to be your friend, we went and hung out at her other gym and we did a workout together, like a crazy workout together. And from there, it just, like she said, it just, our friendship just grew and we were in sync. We had both had in the back of our minds at some point that we potentially wanted to do something more with CrossFit and touch more people than, you know, the community that we knew. And, you know, honestly, with COVID, and at some point, either she wasn't working or I wasn't working or whatever it was, it just was a good time for us to be able to sit down and put something together that we were, and still working on, able to grow and turn into a business of our own. So, and that kind of brings us to today.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Oh, that was so soft. I want to be your friend.
And I remember that now. I totally do. And I remember the workout. It was boxes and the weight vest, which I have a picture of. I have a picture of that. Yeah.
If you could send me that picture, that would actually be super helpful.
Absolutely. It was an after picture, so we look, forget it.
Crazy.
You look like the bonding already happened.
Yeah.
So when it comes to a lot of people think that CrossFit is a cult. And, oh, you go in, you drink the Koolaid, you can't come out. What is something that you would say to somebody that has that kind of mentality about CrossFit?
Well, I would word it differently, because what I would say is, well, how would you feel if you went into a gym or something and they yell out your name, Debbie, what's up? How are you doing? It's not something you get usually if you go into a regular gym. And then, how would you feel when you're working out and you're some workouts are hard. I struggle at them, but you hear people calling you out and saying, come on, you got this, come on, take a rest, whatever. It's support. It's not only support, but it's positive vibes. That's kind of how I feel about it. And on top of that, you make friends out of it. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like it's hard to kind of call people your friends. At least for me, I feel like sometimes people have to prove themselves to be a friend. But over the years, I've made so many acquaintances. And even though I might not be in that particular CrossFit anymore, we're still in touch. And it's almost like I never left. So it's kind of like, I wouldn't consider it a cult. I would just consider it a place where everybody knows your name. You're not judged and you're just completely accepted, because we might all be on a different journey, but we're all on a journey. So, it's kind of an amazing situation, which is why I loved it so much, because I never felt judged and I felt completely accepted for however I was on any given day. So I wouldn't call it a cult, but I would kind of definitely strongly call it just a positive community. Yeah. Leslie.
Okay. So let's call it a cult. Let's call it that, right? So I actually was just watching the whole, David Koresh and the Waco thing that happened years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. I was watching that documentary for like the 5th time the other day. Okay, so let's call it a cult. What are the positives of a cult, right? You have somewhere to go, like Deb said, where people accept you. There's a family feel to it where you're not judged, where you can just be totally who you are in your element, whether you are day one, 100 pounds overweight, or year 6, still struggling with some stuff, but have arms like mine, whatever it is that you look like, you know what I mean? And there's something for everybody. That same person who's on day one, 100 pounds overweight, I'm going to do the same workout as that person, but just at my pace. And they're going to do it at their pace. And we're both going to get the same stimulus, the same result at some point, but at just different points in our fitness journey. So a cult, okay, but the whole point is that there is a place that you can go with like-minded people who are looking for the same thing, which is acceptance, which is a different lifestyle, which is improving yourself. And like Deb just said, you can go there and make friends, make family. And so, yeah, that sounds like a cult. But if that's what it sounds like, it's the best cult I've ever been in. And drinking the Koolaid and all that kind of stuff. No, there are people who walk in the door and like, no, I'm not coming back. Everything is not for everybody. But I think that once you at least try it, 1, and 2, see other people who have had the results of being in this cult, you may want to join it too. And we're not necessarily here doing this interview to be like, come join CrossFit, but we are saying, do something, move, do some fitness, just to improve yourself overall, no matter what it is, whether it's CrossFit, whether it's walking 10 blocks a day. But just finding something that speaks to you and gets you out there moving.
The other question now, how has CrossFit or just your fitness journey in general changed your perception of fitness, of health, of wellness?
For me, and Deb may say the same things because we're in a cult together. The things that you mentioned, fitness, health, wellness, like I think that people don't realize that those are really 3 different things. And putting those things together, for me, realizing that the 3 go hand in hand, is where my mindset started to change, right? So when I first started CrossFit, I was working out, cool, going to the gym, lifting some weights, moving around. And yeah, I was seeing results, right? But at the end of the day, I was still going to restaurants and eating whatever I wanted, and because I was working out, so I could eat whatever I wanted. So yeah, I was losing a couple pounds here and there, and maybe saw a different muscle or some other muscle was hurting, but I wasn't necessarily, again, didn't know it, optimizing my fitness by adding in the healthy eating and the wellness. Deb talked about headaches and that sort of thing and not feeling that well. And not until you put all of those things together and figure out that all of those things need to go together, do you actually start to feel better, right? So I cut out dairy at some point. Oh my God, my stomach went down. Like I wasn't bloated anymore. I didn't have gas pains anymore, right? I started sleeping a little bit more, trying to get 7 hours of sleep as opposed to, especially living in New Orleans, right? Only get 4 or 5 hours of sleep. And then, yeah, I would get up and go to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning, but then I'd be exhausted the rest of the day because I didn't get enough sleep or I didn't eat well enough. I ate, whatever I wanted, whatever New Orleans fried food I wanted because I was going to the gym the next day. So that actually took quite a few years for me to figure out, right? What I really wanted how I really wanted to feel, not just look, right? Because the fitness part will help you get to how you want to look. But the health part and the wellness part will start to get to how you feel physically and mentally. So for me personally, once those 3 things came together, that's when I saw my best results. And I'll be honest, it probably wasn't until my late 30s, right? Because I didn't start CrossFit until my early 30s, 33, 34. So I didn't put all of that puzzle stuff together until I was about 35, 36. And that's when I started seeing my best results. Like if you look at my before and after pictures from when I was 33. And then I did one when I was like 35, 36. I was looking crazy different. And now that I'm more consistent with putting those things together, I look even different from when I was 37 and I just turned 43. So putting those things together consistently for me, health, wellness, fitness, is where my journey kind of turned and became more consistent, and I saw the best results. And so now it's a lifestyle now. It's not just, oh, I'm on this diet for right now. No, 90% of the time, this is how I live, and this is what I do, and what I put in my body, and how I move my body. The other 10%, hey, whatever. But yeah, it becomes a lifestyle at a certain point.
100%. Yeah. So kind of like Leslie said, I guess and I said it before, I always struggled with losing weight, and, I have like bigger bones or whatever. And back in the days, what I saw was like, you had to be skinny. And in order for me to be skinny, I would go through drastic measures. Like, it was crazy. And I said before, I always felt sick. And I remember I told my mom one day, I'm like, why do I never feel good? Every single day I have a headache. I would be calling all the time from work because I have migraines. Never understood why. Well, it wasn't until I started CrossFit, and then like Leslie said, you don't start putting things for your mentality is, I just need to exercise to lose weight. So, okay, I joined CrossFit. My body's transitioning, but then it gets to a point like, well, what more can I do? And then when they start telling you about nutrition, you're kind of just like, just because you don't know, you're not educated on how food works with your body. So I was introduced to counting my macros. And when they kind of like did that for me and I started eating more, I thought I was eating too much food, but in reality, I was actually feeling better. So for me, it was like, I was never eating enough. I was doing crazy things, eating 500 calories a day, being on a treadmill for 2 hours in a sweatsuit, all these things that are just not realistic and not sustainable for life in order to lose weight. Yeah, you can lose 5 pounds in a week, but the minute you put it like a piece of bread in your mouth, you're 5 pounds back up. So my education on food and your body was not there. And I remember this one time I wanted to do this cabbage soup diet, in which
What is that?
it's crazy. My father, bless his heart, because he's not with us anymore, he supported me in everything. We went to the store. I think we bought all the cabbage that was there, and we made pots and pots of cabbage soup. And I was to only have this cabbage soup 3 times a day. It was crazy.